Hi, my name is Wilbur Tillman. You can call me Will. I am running for 3rd Ward Alderman in Calumet City. This video here is loaded with great information and you will not want to miss a moment of this. First of all, let me explain to you what you're going to see in this video. What I'll do is introduce myself, and then there will be a short question and answer session. Behind that, there are a couple of more candidates that will introduce themselves to you as well. I believe in family. I've been married for almost 26 years to my high school sweetheart. We have 5 children. Many of you may already know her. Her name is Tillman. She's the Vice President of School District 149. I believe in helping the community as well. I was a mortgage originator since 1995, and several years later I started my own business as a mortgage broker. When I went into business for myself, I vowed that I would help people. My name is Will Tillman, and with your vote on February 26th, I will become the next Alderman of the 3rd Ward in Calumet City. I believe if you're going to be a good public servant, you first must have been a good private servant. And together, we will do big things in Calumet City. You know, the city of Calumet City, the administration, they have a history of bad judgment. I'll give you an example of one. What the city had engaged in, they've been doing this for years. They have been buying good properties in Calumet City and demolishing these properties. Now what that did is took these properties off the tax rolls. Once they did that, we now had a vacant lot, and this is a vacant lot that had to be maintained. So instead of now receiving tax dollars from these properties, it is now costing us in the form of now the city has to maintain these properties. That's just bad judgment all the way around. What I would do, I've had a lot of time to think about this. And the program, I have one program for sure that will take care of a lot of the problems here that we have. I've had a chance to talk with some of the people at unions and some of the trade school people. And what we would do, the city would do actually, is we would partner with the unions that have apprenticeship programs, trade schools, and we would get some of our youth, our troubled youth, and we would get them into these programs, whereas they would get some real life job skills so they could actually make some real money and become productive citizens in Calumet City. First thing we would do is that we would implement a walk and talk program. What that program actually does is we get the police officer, he gets out of the car, and for half an hour to an hour, he actually walks his beat, checks in with the businesses, makes sure everything is going well, so there's actually no problem going on. He also gets into the high crime areas, the neighborhoods, and he walks those streets as well. So all the bad people, the drug dealers, they know it is not going to be safe to continue doing business there. The second program that I have is it's actually not a brand new idea. It was an idea that was implemented before the last mayor. The current mayor cut this program out, but it was a police substation. We had it over in the Smiley Plaza area over there. And what was great about that is that instead of the police station being a couple of miles away from the general area over in the 3rd Ward, what happened is that we had a police station that was only a couple of blocks away. So when something happened, a call was made, the police was there in a matter of a couple of minutes versus maybe 5 to 10 minutes. So these are 2 great programs. I would certainly reintroduce that police substation, and we would very much affect the crime rate in Calumet City, in the 3rd Ward, where we have some of the highest crime in the city. One of the first things I will do, or with the council we would do, is we would have to do something different with our legal team. Our legal team is charging us way too much money. We could more than cut that in half. The second thing that I would do is deal with these properties, the city purchasing these properties, tearing them down and turning vacant lots into these. We obviously don't make any money on that, and that would be the next thing that we would freeze that right now. Those are the two things I would do immediately to deal with the budget reform. There are no sewers in the alley to handle the water, the rainwater that comes down. So they leave the alleys unpaved for this reason. But here's the real question you would have to ask yourself. The city has grant writers, and there's certainly grant money for these infrastructure upgrades. Why hasn't the city or your alderman directed the grant writer for the city to go after some of these grants so we could take care of this problem? I don't know. I'd have to ask that same question myself. Folks, February 26th is decision time. But before you get there, you're going to have to ask yourself a couple of questions. First, have you had enough? They waste your tax dollars and make you pay for their lifetime insurance while they boost their own pensions. Is that enough? Are you fed up with leaving yourself and your children at risk with our out-of-control crime? Did you know that Calumet City has double the crime rate in almost every major category as compared to the U.S. statistics? Did you know that Calumet City has an overall crime rate that's higher than each of our border neighbors? Yes, we are worse than Lansing, South Holland, Dalton, and Burnham. And lastly, do you really believe that we should accept substandard service from our current alderman because half the time he's in Springfield? We deserve more than substandard service, which is what our current alderman continues to give us. We must let our current alderman and the rest of the city administration know that we will not put up with high crime rates, nor wasteful spending, and certainly not an absentee alderman anymore. On election day, we must send a strong message and change the direction of our city. In conclusion, if the elected officials in Calumet City would utilize its vast resources of its residents with all their many talents and ideals, together we could solve many of the problems that plague our great city and neighborhoods. We could make safer streets and raise our property values. We also could court businesses and bring more jobs. Together, we could make Calumet City the shining star of the south suburbs it should be.